Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl Therapists in the Wild. And this is a little series that I like to call Therapist Six Sips and Reviews. And I am drinking some apple vodka with some pineapple juice. Yes, how is everybody doing? I know it's been a couple weeks, but work, life, pandemic. That's all I can say. Thank you so much to the new subscribers. I have a few, and I haven't said thank you yet. I went from like 500 to like 530 something, 40 something. So welcome new people. This channel is full of random things as I feel like doing it, and we will not be, there's not a set day or time of the week because I am a therapist. And I have a lot of clients, and shit gets hectic, and this doesn't pay me money. So we have yet to have a set day or time of the week, but there's a lot of videos on my channel. So if you guys want to peruse and browse and see what you like, feel free. But thank you so much for subscribing. I really like that, you guys are enjoying this. I don't know what this is. I'm hoping that I'm not doing anything that will offset me getting clients eventually. Because I'm just going to be me. I'm going to drink. I'm going to review movies. I'm going to talk about mental health stuff, and I'm going to cuss. I'm not going to not cuss. And, it is what it is. How you doing? So, I am reviewing today Malcolm and Marie. I know in my last video I said I was not going to review any movies or shows with light skin or mixed women as the lead, just because I'm tired. And yes, I would like to see myself more often, and so I try to stay away from things that are triggering me, especially when I'm in the mood to just see myself. But Zendaya, she goes out of her way to try not to take roles from darker skinned black women. This is her own produced movie, and I think it's her house or John David's house, one of them. And they just did something together just cause. So, I can't be mad about that. And so I'm not going to be mad about it. It was I don't want to say good movie because it was very triggering. It reminded me very much so of my own past abusive relationship. And, yeah. But it was good acting. There was good monologues. It showed the ins and outs of a relationship. It also showed how an abusive relationship, even though you keep yelling at the TV screen for this bitch to leave this nigga, in real life it doesn't work that way. They stay. And she's very young. And every time he touches her in a sexual way, it just looks really gross. It looks like he's touching a 15-year-old because she looks 15. I also looked 15 when I was 20, in my early 20s. So, it just, but it was good acting, good monologuing, good representation of what a narcissistic relationship looks like. It can be very insidious. Yes, they are in a toxic relationship. So we start off, this movie is starring Zendaya as Marie, John David as Malcolm. See, it's easy too. It's only two people in this movie. Two names I gotta remember. You see that? So, they start the movie off coming back from a movie premiere of his. And basically the movie is about a drug addict, a black woman who's a drug addict, and she's trying to, she's just following her life around as a drug addict and things like that. And so, you can tell Zendaya is kind of off. I might switch between Marie and Zendaya as the libations set in. But, you can tell that Zendaya is a little bit off emotionally. She just walks in the house very quietly, very stoic, starts making him food. I didn't know what she was making at first, but apparently she's making him mac and cheese. And he's just going on this random monologue about the party and about being a black director. He really likes to talk. And I think he just really likes to hear himself talk. And she just, is standing there quietly, just getting food together and listening and whatever, and angry. And then he comes over as she's stirring the mac and cheese or whatever, and he starts kissing on her. And I think he's trying to go down on her. And then he notices that she has a fake smile. And then he wants to call her out. and wants to ask her over and over again, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's wrong, my nigga. And she even says, you do not know how to, have an argument and end it in a peaceful way.
I promise you it's not a good idea. Let's just talk tomorrow.
But you're upset with me.
It's not that big of a deal.
I can't go to bed knowing that you're angry.
Malcolm, I promise you, nothing productive is going to be said tonight.
You don't know how to do that. I don't want to talk about this with you. But, he keeps pestering her like a child. You can tell I don't like his character in this movie. But I will say, this is the first time, because of the black and white and the contrast, he actually looks like his dad. He's always sounded like his dad. His dad's Denzel Washington, by the way. But to me, he's never really looked like him until this movie. So go off, sis. Yes. So they get into it, and Zendaya just basically is like, you took that movie and stole my life. And he's just like, or no. She starts off, the first argument is about him not saying thank you to her when he got his, when he went up there to present his movie or whatever.
Are you angry?
You spend your entire life catering to the feelings and the whims of literally everyone but me.
And he said thank you to everybody and his mama, but didn't say thank you to her. Come to find out, the movie is about her. It's about her life as being a former drug addict, and he helped her through and helped her grow and whatever, took her to rehab and picked her up when she would overdose, and all these things that should not be thrown back in a person's face at any time, because when you give wholeheartedly. And when you bring it back up, that means you were just giving to control this person. Not because you actually, I saw that on a meme too, but not because you actually gave wholeheartedly, because you wouldn't have brought it up in the argument. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out here. And, she even mentions this in the movie, as they have multiple arguments, but she even mentions this in the movie, you like to take these hurtful things and use them as weapons against me, like her attempted suicide at some point.
Forget to thank you at a fucking movie premiere. You come home, you start a fight, and by morning you're drinking on Xannies, trying to fucking cut your wrist with a pair of fucking nail scissors.
And, that she enjoys pain and heartache and will be around. He does what I like to call the bullshit soliloquy. That is when an emotionally abusive person will very eloquently stand in front of you and give this whole monologue about how you're not shit, you will never be shit, but I still love you though, and I'm still here to fix you. And he gives this, multiple times and shit, and she's just trying to tell him, look, man, you took my life, you made it into a movie, You didn't even thank me. I'm your girlfriend. You didn't even fucking thank me at all. And then you're trying to gaslight me, and he keeps calling her crazy, insane. She needs to be in a mental hospital. Throughout this whole movie, it's just them two in a house arguing all night from 1 a.m. to whatever time in the morning. They live in Malibu, so it looks like they have enough space to yell and scream at each other at that time. They keep turning. And they use music a lot in this movie to talk to each other and dictate how each other feels. He comes in, plays James Brown, and then after their first or second argument, he plays some other music, and then after he gives a bullshit soliloquy while she's in the bathtub, she plays some music about some oldie about you better leave him, girl. And I just, so throughout this movie, they're arguing. So first it was about him not saying thank you. Then they move into, this movie was about me and you stole my life. And he gaslights her and makes her feel like shit. And, she is right though. I don't care. He stole her life. And you know what? She won in this movie. After that argument about he stole her life, because you know why? Okay, so they have this argument about how he stole her life and made a movie about it and didn't even thank her. Then she says, you stole my life, made a movie about it and didn't even thank me. Then he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, who do you know that was a drug addict and a young woman? Everybody's coming up to me at the party talking about he so eloquently can voice a young woman doing drugs. So eloquently. He just like, he lived that life. She's like, who the fuck else do you know, my nigga, that was a drug addict and a young woman, young black woman? Who else? And of course he's speechless. So, you know, she's feeling like she's won. So she goes and takes a luxurious bath to bathe and luxuriate in her winnings because she's won. But no, sweetness. No, because narcissists, they will come back for more and more and more. And you know what he does? He comes back and then while she's in the tub, he gives her his soliloquy of bullshit where he lists every broken bitch that he's been with and how he's taken pieces of their stories and put it in this movie, and it's not just about her. And it's like stupid shit like, oh, you see the way she ties her shoes? That was that bitch that I fucked in some heart-shaped tub in Vegas. That's how she tied her shoes. I'm like, nigga, really? You took this woman's whole personality, and even the fact that she tried to kill herself with some nail cutting scissors or whatever the fuck they called it in the movie. I call them nail clippers, but whatever. And you picking out these, how this one walked was some other, you know, addict girlfriend that I had, that I took her walk from her. And I'm just like, you know, you're telling on yourself, right? You're basically saying that you have a trail of broken bitches that you date. This is a pattern. See, this is a narcissistic pattern that we like to gloss over when we're talking to people about, you know, their past dating history. If they're telling you that every person that they date was crazy and that they dated was crazy, or something was wrong with them, but nothing was wrong with that person, and that person was just there to heal this person, then that means that there's something wrong with that person, because you can't have a relationship without 50-50. You can't have a relationship without adding to the pot. What did you do, sir? So when you're ever on a date with someone and you start seeing that pattern, I'd like to ask, so what did you do to contribute to this? Because no one's just, you know, wilding out, keying your car, blowing shit up for nothing. What happened? Oh, all three bitches did that. So what happened? What made them feel that they needed to key your car and blow your shit up? I want to know what your story, not theirs. So he's basically telling on himself that he has a pattern of dating women that are broken and then using them. Yes, God. But she doesn't clock that because she's young. And in this movie, she's even though she's smart, she's still, you know, she's still able to be, you know, like taken down a peg by this nigga. And so she's like thinking, oh, well, I guess it's not just about me. It's also about, you know, these bitches. And maybe I was wrong. And then he goes into this bullshit soliloquy about how she's a broken bitch. How he doesn't call her a bitch, but he calls her crazy and insane. And, you know, how she sees herself in everything else and all this other stuff. And it's like, sir, you just said that every woman you dated was broken. And also that you've taken pieces of their story for your movie. And so basically what she was saying earlier about you taking pieces of her life and making it into a movie and then not thanking her was true. You just admitted to her, basically you admitted to her, you know, you said she was right. But, you know, because of the way he's saying it, she just feels all fucked up inside. And he's all like, you like going after broken things. You like being in pain. That's why when I'm sitting here calling you a piece of shit, you're smiling at me because you like that. And that's insane. But I love you though. And I'm there for you though. And da 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 da.
I need a reason to be needed. Because if I don't need you, then what the hell am I doing with you, Marie?
And then he says some dumb shit about, you know, you think you can bring me down the peg. I will. Something about picking her up and tearing her to pieces or some shit. And so I'm just like, when is the option to just not talk come in? When is the option to sit and really look at what she has to say and see and validate her hurt come in? Because let it have been me, honey. But then, that's why he seems like the type that brags on the first date about everybody he knows and what he's doing and how he's da-da-da and such. That's a red flag. Notice that. Note, especially living in Southern California, notice that. I know such and such and such and such and who knew what. Is this going to be the entirety of our conversation, sir? All about who you... I don't care. Those are just strangers that you're naming off that I don't know. I've seen them in movies and shit, but I don't know these people, so I don't care if you know them. But, go off. Anyways. She is then emotionally drained in the bathtub. And Zendaya is a good actress. She just sank into that tub and she just looked like he just sucked all the feelings out of her. And it's just like, it was so triggering because I've been the recipient of those bullshit soliloquies, and they sound, when you're in the moment and you're so emotional, and they sound like they make sense. But when you step back after the fact and realize, no, so I call them bullshit soliloquies. You're just word salad. You're just talking. You're just talking to confuse me and make me feel less than. I've stopped listening. I'm doing other shit. I'm not even entertained by this I'm not even entertaining this conversation anymore. I have other shit to do. So anyways, she gets up out the tub and they have this whole scene where he then goes and is trying to read this article that from the New York Times or the LA Times, and he's trying to read the article about, his premiere, that this white woman that he talked to at the premiere was going to write about him, and basically she made it like a political thing, and he was all like, it's not about race, it's not about politics, why can't I just have fun? And then Zendaya's just laying there like, my nigga, you are about to make a movie about Angela Davis, like an autobiography about, and he's like, so what? I can make both. And it's like, my nigga, sir, you out here making a movie about a black woman who does drugs. Usually most of those movies, unless it's about weed, it's gonna be political, especially if she's black. But anyways, go off, honey. And he just does these long ass monologues about, and then he's just cussing and being loud and yelling out in the backyard and shit like that. And I'm just like, are the neighbors listening? I saw this whole little TikTok this dude did. It was so hilarious about the neighbors to Malcolm and Maria. It was hilarious.
He is still out there hollering about Barry Jenkins. Yes. All night. He did it all night. I already sent Maria a text and told her she could come over here. And I'm not trying to tell her what to do, but she don't need to go back over there. She really doesn't. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm not trying to call the police. But he really needs to pull it together. I'm going to have to solipsistically, metaphorically, ontologically whip his ass. You have neighbors, Malcolm. Barry's probably in bed. Try that. Lord Jesus.
He was in the video. He was like, Marie, let me know if you need help, girl. Let me know if you need to call. Let me to call the police, girl. I know. Marie is in what's called a trauma bond because she knows this motherfucker's a narcissist. She said it at the end of the movie that he's a narcissist. And that he's not going to grow more than this. Because whatever... So narcissists cannot be cured. That is what it is. And, the psychology realms is that they cannot be cured because this is a space that... This is a personality. This is how they view the world. So it would take a lot for them to view it in a different way, especially if they've experienced trauma or whatever. It would take a lot for them to actually see their flaws and do something about it and grow and sit in their pain and recognize it as something changeable, as something moldable, as something that you don't have to be afraid of. It would take a lot. And so that's why we say it's not curable, because their personality type is to manipulate. That is how they feel safe, is to manipulate and mess with people and do shit so that they can stay separate from the world and all that other stuff. It's not that they lack empathy, it's that they don't care. It's, I know you're hurting, I just don't care because I care about myself first. First and foremost, this is a game. This is all, the world is a stage and we're all here to try to survive, and that's what they see. And so he's going on this whole soliloquy, this whole montage about this white woman making his film political. And then she just says, isn't the lead bitch in the movie? Then she go on an interview with Entertainment Tonight and talk about how this is like political, basically, and black women and the healthcare system and societal racism and all this other stuff. She went on ET and said that. So, I mean, like, what else was the white woman that interviewed you at the premiere supposed to think? And he tried to, like, act like she didn't. Like, oh, well, you know, she just talking. She just talking because I think earlier in the movie, he tried to triangulate. He tried to play off the lead woman in the movie off of Zendaya. And basically, triangulate is just like, I'm going to compare this bitch to you so that you'll feel bad. And he said it like casually after one of his stupid ass monologues about movies and old movies and how they're all tied together and the creator of movies. And then he looks at her and goes, oh, you wouldn't know much about, you know, movies because you're not an actress. That's fucked up, because when you get to the end of the movie, closer to the end, you'll see why. Anyways, so after he says that, he then says, you know, it was after he noticed that she did a fake smile. And then he goes, oh, you just don't like the lead actress in the movie because she can see through you just like I can see through you. And the bitch is looking at him like, this nigga is just popping off at the mouth, talking to her all types of ways. And she even said it. She was just like, I think when you know that someone loves you and you have somebody, you just forget about them. That's why you didn't thank me.
I feel like once you know someone is there for you and once you know they love you, you never actually think of them again.
And, you know, he goes off and talks shit and does stupid stuff. So we're at the whole, like, montage. This is jumping all over the place, so hopefully you guys watch the movie. But basically, it's two people in a house arguing all night, and one's a narcissist, the other one's a former addict and probably has PTSD and depression and all sorts of shit, and he's just picking at her and shit. But basically, we get to the piece, like I said, when she is, you know, listening to him talk about the review from the reporter. And, you know, afterwards, she's just like letting him know, like, hey, actors are just actors. Like, we shouldn't be required to be all political and shit like that. And, you know, we should just feel like, you know, we should just act. And it's okay to be just an actor and not have any opinions about shit. You know, people put you on this platform and then you feel like, oh, since I'm on this platform, they expect me to do this. And you might not have any fucking idea about what the fuck you're talking about. That's why a lot of these motherfuckers be saying stupid shit. And you just be like, oh my gosh. Because they just wanted to get rich and, you know, be unbothered, basically. And you're asking them questions about, like, politics and racism and... yeah, but, you know, we get to see where their mind is at, so that's nice. But anyways, so they're about to have sex after she tells him that, you know, this woman went on the television and basically made your movie political, and you're complaining about this white woman complaining, but at the end of the day, your lead actress was the one that started this shit. And then they're about to have sex, and he gets up, because they're on the floor in the living room, and he gets up, he has to piss. So he gets up to go pee, and he's all like, just keep happy thoughts. So because he doesn't want an argument, he just wants to finally have sex after winning or premiering his movie, finally have sex. So she's laying on the floor, and of course she's thinking, because when he's not around to distract, she's thinking. And when he comes back, she tells him, she asks him a question. She says, can I ask you a question without you making me feel like shit? Because of course he always makes her feel like shit whenever she says anything that has to go against anything that he's doing. And so he's like, sure, whatever. I wanted to fuck, but whatever. And so he sits on the floor and she's like, why didn't you cast me? And he's like, I knew you were jealous. You're a jealous bitch. And I'm just like, and she's like, no, my nigga, you took my story and you made a movie out of it. And you cast some other bitch to tell my story when I could have told my story. And now I can't tell my story because you told my story. You stole my story. And then, of course, he tries to throw it back on her and be like, well, you just didn't have what it takes to, go through with the audition. And, and she was just like, well, I attempted to, but you didn't want me. You didn't want me to play that part because you didn't want to have two people on the stage with you because, they would have focused on me. I'm light skinned. I'm young. I have this harrowing story and I'm a bomb ass actress. They're going to focus on me. Go. And you didn't want that. So, and he's like, no bitch, whatever, bitch. And, okay. And so then they go their separate ways out the house, and he's on the one side on the outside and she's on the other, and she's smoking. And then he goes back in the house and she comes in with a knife. So she has a knife and she's coming towards him with like a knife. And then she does this fantastic monologue from the movie.
I'm not doing well. I'm really, really not doing well. I've never been clean. And I don't plan on getting clean.
That he made, and he doesn't realize it's from the movie. He thinks she's about to stab his ass or kill herself or some shit. And then he's just like, oh, and didn't say nothing. And then she gets up and is like, that's authenticity for you, because she was saying that she could have played the part because she was more authentic because it's her life. And he was all like, nobody cares about authenticity. Your life is boring. I took your life and made it a cinematic masterpiece. And it's like, my nigga, that's why you got to keep shit close to the chest. You can't be telling everybody shit about yourself like that. If you don't know them, if you don't know who they are as a human being, as a person, don't be telling them shit if you don't know them. So anyways, she goes in the house. So then somehow they end up back in the house. They're about to have sex again. They never actually have sex. This argument just keeps stopping the sex. And, she's just like talking about the scene in the movie and how she loves him because she is a person of mystery. Because when she was in the tub, he also triangulated by bringing up all the bitches that he's referencing in the movies and all the ways he fucked those bitches. Like, nobody needed to know that. Nobody needed to know how you fuck the bitches. Nobody needed to know that. And basically, she's telling him how she didn't like that, how she loves him unconditionally, and she's a person of mystery. She doesn't need to know how he fucked bitches, but he's not a person of mystery because he's narcissistic. Because he can't see his own flaws. And because he can't see his own flaws, he thinks he's the shit. And so he doesn't have to worry about being jealous of her. He doesn't have to worry about her leaving him. And so that's why he didn't thank her. Because I don't have to thank this bitch. She's not going nowhere. But everybody else might. Oh my gosh, it's so horrible. And, she mentioned him not being jealous of her earlier in the movie. He's not jealous of her because I'm the shit. I'm the amazing man. And so she's not going nowhere because you've broken her down emotionally. You've thrown shit in her face. You've made her feel less than, on top of the fact that she has an addiction, on top of the fact she has mental health issues. You've made her feel like shit about herself. And so, yes, she's not going anywhere. I know she's not, but still at the same time, it's like, this is what happens when you go through a toxic relationship with somebody that is emotionally abusive. They will break you down emotionally. You will feel less of a person. You will feel less of yourself. You will forget who you fucking are as a human being, and then spend most of your time trying to build this other person up. She came back, even though he didn't thank her. She made him macaroni and cheese. She moved in with him. She gives him good sex. She does all the things for him, builds his ass up. All she wanted was a thank you. And that's what she said to him. All I want. I didn't like the way that sounded. All I wanted was a thank you. All I wanted was you to say thank you for existing, for being in my life, for being next to me. She wanted to be seen.
Ability to love me. All I wanted tonight was a thank you, Malcolm. That is it. That's all. Thank you, Marie. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for making my life better. Thank you for getting your life together. Thank you for watching 100 cuts and reading 100 fucking drafts. Thank you for your notes.
And he stands there and starts crying like a little bitch. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you should have known this. But you're not capable of seeing these things because you're so caught up your own fucking ass that you don't realize how much you're hurting somebody, or you just don't care. You just don't care. He realizes it. He just doesn't care. Let's change the vocabulary here, people. They don't care. Because once you change that in your head from he doesn't know to he doesn't care, or they don't know, or she doesn't know, or whatever, to they don't care, then it's easier to step the fuck about this bitch. They don't care because they don't care because it's a pattern. They do it over and over again. They experience your emotions and you saying the same shit over and over again. And they still do it again. They don't care. So they get into this awkward silence for the rest of the movie. And they're just forlornly staring at each other, in the mirror. While she's putting lotion on, he's looking at her and looking all fucked up in the face and shit. He's not going to change. I don't care. At the very end, when they're in bed, he apologizes and says, I'm sorry. And then he says, thank you. And she's like, you're welcome. But at the end of the day, he's not going to change because he doesn't see what's wrong with him. He doesn't see that he has things to fix. He doesn't care to see those things. He doesn't care to fix them. So at the very end, he wakes up alone, and I was like, oh, he woke up alone. That's a good sign. He wakes up alone, and then he walks around the house screaming her name, Marie, 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 and she's standing on the hill outside of their Malibu home, staring at the sea, and he goes up and stands by her, and I hope she leaves his ass. The credits roll. And it's over. I hope she leaves him. I hope she walks the fuck away from him. He's crazy. There's something wrong with him. He's not going to fix. This isn't going to be fixed. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he was just born this way. I don't fucking know. But he's not going to be fixed. I don't see it happening. I don't see it because shit like that doesn't change easily. You have to admit that you have a problem. Not once did he admit that he had a problem. He just said, I'm sorry. Are you going to admit that you have flaws? Are you going to admit that what she's saying was the truth? Are you going to... No, he just said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's nice. You aren't going to admit a damn thing. So yeah, that was a movie about a narcissist and the victim of a narcissist. And this is not what we want in our relationships. This is not what we want in our friendships. This is not what we want with our family members. We want to be able to both clearly communicate how we feel, express ourselves, validate each other, and work through things in a healthy, logical way, with some emotion thrown in, because you want to keep a good balance of logic and emotion. But yeah, this is sad. This movie was a lot. This movie was sad. This movie was, not even bittersweet. It was no sweetness to this. It was just like, I wouldn't be in some shit like that. Never again. Nope. You ain't gonna give me no bullshit soliloquy standing over me, talking eloquently while you suck the fucking emotions out of me like a damn video game or some shit. You sucking the soul out of my body and shit. Fuck that shit. You got me fucked up. And they just drained. Just emotionally. You saw her in the bathtub. She was just emotionally drained. He sucked all the life. And then he just looked so evil, like a snake leaning over the side of the bathtub with his squinty eyes looking at her out the corner of his eyes like some evil motherfucking And she just sitting there crying, young and feeling like, I hope she leaves him. Or he leaves her. The trash took itself out. She'll be okay. She'll survive. So they need to break up. She has gone through too much to have to deal with this nigga and his problems. And he just has problems. He'll probably be successful, but the fact that he admitted to basing his whole movie off of all the bitches that he's been with that have been broken, plus her, I want to see where his creativity comes from when it's just him. She even said it. If it was just you, you wouldn't have no creativity, you know? And yeah, maybe him sitting and thinking over his life and thinking about all the women he's with and taking pieces of their story is a part of his life, but he took pieces of their story. Like if he were to make a movie about himself dating these women and the movie was focused on him and how he was able to kind of traverse through the dating life while dating a bunch of broken women that he chose on purpose. I feel like you don't have a pattern like that unless you choose these people on purpose. Then, you know, because he named like 4 or 5 women. Then, you know, then maybe. But no, he straight up took these women's stories, put them in his movie, and then took her story as the foundation of the movie and made the movie, and then didn't thank her at all. Not even a little bit. Didn't put her in the movie. Didn't fight for her to be anything above the bitch he's sleeping with that makes him craft macaroni and cheese whenever he gets hungry. I don't know what y'all think of this movie. How did you feel? What thoughts went through your mind? Because this is not a romance. This is some bullshit. Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you again for subscribing. Thank you for all the people that, you know, enjoy my channel. And, you know, stay away from narcissists. Look out for the red flags. Maybe I'll do a video on red flags. Who knows? I'm tired. I'm going to sign out for this evening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Later days.